You're Logan, correct?
Is that you?
The voice cuts through the silence, sharp, controlled, empty of warmth. Logan stands frozen in the doorway of the glass-walled office, his toolbox suddenly an anchor in his sweating palm. "Yes, Mom," he manages. Helen Arden doesn't turn from the window. The Manhattan skyline spreads behind her, like conquered territory, 59 floors above Midtown's chaos. Her posture is perfect, her charcoal suit immaculate. Even her silence costs money. "My laptop froze during a board meeting." She finally turns, and Logan catches his first full look at her face. Sharp cheekbones, grey eyes that could audit a soul. Fix it. Not a request, a command. 6 hours earlier, Logan had woken to industrial detergent seeping through the floorboards. The laundromat below started at 5 every morning. By 6:30, the chemical tang was as reliable as an alarm clock and twice as harsh. "Dad?" Aiden's voice drifted from the other room, small and uncertain. "Is today Saturday?" "Wednesday, buddy." Logan pulled on his work shirt, navy blue with Stratford IT Services embroidered over the pocket. The fabric was thin where he'd washed it too many times. "Why?" "Because Saturdays you don't look so tired." 9 years old and already keeping score. Logan forced a smile as he entered Aiden's room, finding his son cross-legged on the bed, clutching the stuffed elephant his mother had given him 3 years ago. Before the rehab center in Connecticut, before the divorce papers, before silence became the loudest thing in their apartment. "I'm good, Aiden. Just thinking about work stuff." He ruffled his son's hair. "Cereal or toast?" "Cereal." "Dad?" Aiden's voice dropped. "Do you think Mum remembers what my voice sounds like?" The question landed like a fist. Logan crouched down, meeting his son's eyes. "Hey, she's got her stuff to work through, okay? But you're the best thing she ever made. Don't forget that." Aiden nodded, but doubt lived in his expression now. Permanent resident. Logan hated that his son had learned this look so young, the careful hope of a child who expects disappointment. The subway ride into Manhattan was standing room only, pressed between a nurse in scrubs and a man whose cologne could strip paint. Logan watched his reflection in the scratched window, tracking the transformation. Bronx to Queens, Queens to Midtown's glittering fortress. Dad to employee, visible to invisible. Stratford Global Holdings occupied 40 floors of the Preston Tower. Logan had worked there 2 years and never made it past the 23rd floor. The upper levels were executive territory, pristine, untouchable, where coffee was imported and mistakes were calculated in millions. "Thompson!" His supervisor, Rick, waved a tablet at him the moment he stepped into the IT bay. "Priority 1, floor 59. Logan's stomach dropped. "What?" "COO's laptop. Board meeting disaster, apparently." Rick's smirk was sharp. Helen Arden herself. Try not to sweat on her Persian rug. Around them, the other techs suddenly found their monitors fascinating. Nobody wanted floor 59. The stories filtered down. Executives who destroyed careers over typos, assistants who quit via text message, a CFO who allegedly threw a phone through a conference room window. And Helen Arden was the apex predator of that ecosystem. The woman who'd fired 3 department heads in her first 6 months, who'd restructured the company so efficiently that Arden's axe became industry shorthand for ruthless downsizing. "Rick, I've got 3 tickets already." "This isn't a negotiation, Thompson. Elevator's waiting." The elevator to the executive floors required a special key card. Logan watched the numbers climb. 32, 38, 45, each floor a step further from his world. The air seemed to change as he ascended. Cooler, quieter, more expensive. By floor 50, his collar felt too tight. 59 opened onto a reception area that looked like a modern art museum. White marble, chrome accents, a receptionist who glanced at his toolbox like he'd brought something dead into the building. "Helen Arden's office," Logan said. "Third door. She's expecting you." No smile, no warmth, a voice that had learned to sound like polished steel. The hallway stretched before him. Through glass walls, he glimpsed assistants moving with purposeful speed, faces taut with stress. Nobody made eye contact. Nobody spoke above a whisper. The third door stood open, and that's when he heard her voice. Now, standing in Helen Arden's office, Logan forces himself to move. The laptop sits on her desk, screen black. He sets down his toolbox with a soft click that sounds thunderous. "May I?" he asks. Helen waves a hand, dismissive, distracted. She returns to the window, arms crossed, staring out at the city like she's calculating its net worth. Logan sits, opens the laptop. His hands know what to do, even when his brain is screaming at him to move faster, fix it, leave. Hard reboot, check the memory. The system had crashed during a presentation. Embarrassing for a CEO, but fixable in minutes. The screen flickers to life. And there she is. Not Helen Arden, CEO, not the architect of Arden's axe, but a woman in jeans and a flannel shirt, standing on the shore of a mountain lake, her hair loose around her shoulders, laughing at something off camera. The sunset paints everything gold. She looks young, happy, human. "Is that?" Logan starts, then catches himself. Of course it's her background photo, but the contrast steals his breath. Behind him, Helen's heels click against marble. "Don't touch anything." He freezes, hands hovering over the keyboard. She moves closer. He can smell her perfume now, something that probably costs more than his monthly rent, and stares at the screen, at her own face, at the ghost of whoever she used to be. The silence stretches. Logan's heart hammers. Then Helen speaks, her voice strange and quiet, and nothing like the blade that greeted him. "Logan." She doesn't look at him. "Do you think I'm pretty?" The world stops. He turns slowly in the chair, searching her face for the trap. But her expression is unreadable, her eyes fixed on the screen, on that laughing woman by the lake who might as well be a stranger. Logan swallows. "Yes, ma'am." "You are." Helen's gaze finally shifts to him, studies him with an intensity that makes his skin prickle. "Come back tomorrow," she says. "Same time." "For the laptop?" His voice sounds distant. Helen's lips curve. Not quite a smile, but something close. Something dangerous. "For something else." Logan doesn't sleep. He lies in the dark, staring at the water stain on the ceiling that looks like a map of somewhere he'll never go, replaying the moment over and over. "Do you think I'm pretty?" The question loops in his mind like a glitch in code he can't debug. At 2 a.m., he gives up and moves to the kitchen. Makes coffee he doesn't drink. Stares at his phone. Considers calling in sick. Considers quitting. Considers the fact that neither option pays Aiden's school fees or keeps the heat running. "Dad?" He turns to find his son in dinosaur pajamas, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "Hey, buddy. Bad dream? You're the one who's awake." Aiden climbs onto the chair beside him, small and observant. "You look scared." "Not scared. Just thinking." "About what?" "About how a billionaire CEO asks me if she's pretty, and I have to see her again in 6 hours, and I have no idea if I still have a job, or if I'm walking into a lawsuit, or if—" "Work stuff," Logan says. "Nothing to worry about." Aiden studies him with those two knowing eyes. "You always say that. But then you make that face." "What face?" the one you're making right now. Despite everything, Logan almost laughs. Go back to bed, Aiden. School tomorrow. Today, Aiden corrects. It's already tomorrow. Smart kid. Too smart. Logan watches him shuffle back to his room, and the weight of it all presses down like concrete. Whatever happens on floor 59 today, he can't afford to lose this job. Can't afford to make whatever mistake he's apparently already made. But at 8:45 a.m., when he steps off the subway at Midtown, his feet carry him toward Preston Tower anyway. The IT bay erupts the moment he walks in. "Thompson!" Marcus calls from across the room. "Heard you got a call back to the top floor. What did you do? Install spyware on her computer?" "Probably just smiled at her," Jennifer adds, smirking. You know how these executive types are. They see someone with a soul and it freaks them out. "I just fixed her laptop," Logan mutters, heading for his locker. "Sure. That's why she specifically requested you come back." Rick appears, arms crossed, expression somewhere between amused and suspicious. "Helen Arden doesn't request text twice, Thompson. She barely acknowledges we exist. So either you're about to get promoted or sued. My money's on sued." "Thanks for the vote of confidence." "Hey, I'm just saying. Play it smart up there. These people aren't like us. They smile before they destroy you." Logan grabs his badge and toolbox, ignoring the whispers that follow him to the elevator. The keycard feels heavier today. The numbers climb with the same mechanical indifference, 32, 38, 45. But his pulse races ahead, arriving at floor 59 long before he does. The doors open. The same pristine reception. The same cold-eyed assistant. But this time she stands when he approaches. "Mr. Thompson, Ms. Arden is expecting you. Please follow me." The formality makes his skin crawl. Yesterday he was invisible. Today he's Mr. Thompson. They walk the glass corridor, past the same stressed assistants, past conference rooms where executives gesture at screens full of numbers that mean nothing to him. But today, people notice. Heads turn. Whispers follow. The assistant stops at Helen's door and knocks. 2 precise raps. "Come in." Helen's voice, muffled by glass and wood. The door opens. Helen Arden sits at her desk this time, not standing at the window. She wears a different suit, darker, navy instead of charcoal, and her hair is pulled back so tightly it must hurt. But her expression is different too. Still controlled, still guarded, but something in her eyes has shifted. Something almost uncertain. "Thank you, Rebecca," she says, without looking at the assistant. "Close the door. Hold my calls." Rebecca exits with a sharp nod. The door clicks shut with the finality of a vault ceiling. Helen gestures to the chair across from her. "Sit." Logan sits, sets his toolbox down, waits. Silence stretches between them like a tightrope. Helen studies him with that same unnerving intensity from yesterday, as if she's looking for something hidden beneath his skin. "Why did you answer me the way you did yesterday?" she finally asks. "I'm sorry?" "When I asked if you thought I was pretty, you said yes." She tilts her head slightly. "But you hesitated first. Why?" Logan's throat goes dry. "I thought it might be a test." "It was." Helen leans back in her chair. "Everyone who works for me tells me what they think I want to hear. They read my expression, my tone, my body language, and they calibrate their responses accordingly. It's exhausting." She pauses. "You didn't do that. I just told you the truth." "Exactly." Something flickers across her face. Not quite a smile, but close. "Do you know what that photo was? The one on my laptop? Your background image. It was taken at Lake Placid 7 years ago. My father took it. 2 months before he died." Helen's voice doesn't waver, but her fingers curl slightly against the desk. He owned a cabin there. We'd go every summer. He'd make terrible pancakes, and we'd argue about books, and I'd forget, just for a few days, that I was being groomed to run a company I didn't build. Logan doesn't know what to say. Doesn't know if he's supposed to say anything. I haven't been back since he died, Helen continues. I became CEO 6 months later. And somewhere between the board meetings and the quarterly reports and the 1,000 daily decisions that affect people's lives, I stopped recognizing myself. She touches the laptop screen, where the photo has been replaced by a generic corporate wallpaper. When you looked at that picture yesterday, what did you see? The question lands like a challenge. Logan thinks carefully before answering. Someone who looked happy. And when you look at me now? Helen's gaze locks onto his. What do you see? This is the trap. This is where he's supposed to flatter her, reassure her, tell her she's still that same person. But Rick's words echo in his head. These people aren't like us. I see someone who's forgotten how to be happy, Logan says quietly. And I think that scares you more than any board meeting ever could. The silence that follows could shatter glass. Helen's expression doesn't change, but something in her eyes shifts. Surprise, maybe, or recognition. I didn't call you back to fix my laptop, she says. I figured. I called you back because you told me the truth, and I need someone who can do that. Helen pulls a folder from her desk drawer, slides it across to him. I'm offering you a position. Internal operations consultant. You'll report directly to me. Your job will be to observe, to listen, to tell me what's actually happening in this company. Not the filtered reports my executives give me. Not the sanitized surveys HR produces. The truth. Logan stares at the folder without opening it. Why me? Because you have no corporate loyalty, no ambitions to climb the ladder, no reason to lie to me. Helen's voice softens, just slightly. And because when I asked you that question yesterday, you looked at me like I was a person, not a title, not a threat, just a person. Ms. Arden, the salary is twice what you're making now. Full benefits, security clearance to every floor, every department. You'll have access to employee records, meeting transcripts, internal communications, everything. Logan opens the folder with shaking hands. The number at the top makes his vision blur. He could move, get a better apartment, put Aiden in a better school, stop worrying every time the heat cuts out or the landlord sends another notice. But working directly for Helen Arden, the woman whose assistants quit mid-shift, whose executives fear her like she's a force of nature. This is insane, he says. Yes. Helen stands, walks to the window, her back to him. But I'm drowning in yes men and strategic flattery, and I can feel this company rotting from the inside. I need someone who'll tell me when I'm wrong, when my executives are lying, when the culture I'm supposedly leading is destroying the people who work here. She turns, and for just a moment, she looks like the woman in the photo. Vulnerable. Real. People lie to me every day, Logan. Her voice is barely above a whisper. You didn't. She reaches into her desk again, pulls out an envelope, sets it on top of the folder. Take the night to think about it. Read the offer. Discuss it with your son. She pauses. And if you decide this is too insane, I understand. But know that I wouldn't be asking if I wasn't desperate. Logan picks up the envelope. His name is written on it in actual handwriting, elegant, precise. He opens it, finds the formal offer letter, and beneath it, a handwritten note on heavy cardstock. Thank you for seeing me. H. He looks up at Helen, but she's turned back to the window, dismissing him with her silence. "I'll think about it," Logan manages. "That's all I ask." He stands, gathers the folder and envelope, picks up his toolbox that suddenly feels ridiculous in this pristine office. At the door, he hesitates. "Miss Arden?" "Yes?" "That woman in the photo? She's not gone. She's just buried under a lot of expensive suits." Helen doesn't turn around, but her shoulders shift slightly. A small crack in the armor. Logan leaves, walks past the staring assistants, takes the elevator down with his heart hammering in his chest. He emerges in the lobby, steps into the chaos of Midtown, and finally lets himself breathe. His phone buzzes, a text from Aiden. "Pizza for dinner." Logan looks at the envelope in his hand, at the note, at the impossible offer that could change everything. He texts back, "Yeah, buddy. Pizza sounds perfect." But as he walks toward the subway, he knows he's already made his decision. He just has to figure out how to survive it. The call comes at 7 a.m. Logan stares at his phone on the kitchen counter, watching Helen Arden's name illuminate the screen. He's been awake for 2 hours already, the offer letter spread before him like a contract with the devil. The number still doesn't look real. Neither does the handwritten note he's read. So many times he's memorized the slope of her handwriting. He answers on the 4th ring. "Ms. Arden." "Logan." Her voice is different on the phone, less controlled, more human. "Have you made a decision?" He glances toward Aiden's room, where his son still sleeps, clutching that stuffed elephant. Thinks about the water stain on the ceiling, the smell of detergent from below, the subway rides where he calculates expenses like a prisoner counting days. "I'll take the position." Silence. Then, so quiet he almost misses it. "Thank you for taking the risk." The line goes dead before he can ask what she means. 3 days later, Logan stands in HR on floor 42, listening to Margaret Chen explain why this entire arrangement is a compliance nightmare. "Mr. Thompson, I want to be very clear." Margaret's expression is professional steel. "This position doesn't exist in our organizational structure. You'll be reporting directly to the CEO without going through established channels, which creates significant liability concerns. Additionally, I've already approved it." Helen's voice cuts through the office like wire. She stands in the doorway, immaculate in a black suit, her presence transforming the space. "Margaret, I appreciate your concerns. They're noted. But this position is happening." Margaret's jaw tightens. "Ms. Arden, with all due respect, we need to establish proper boundaries. Performance reviews, reporting structures, oversight. I'll handle the oversight personally." "That's precisely what concerns me." Margaret turns to Logan, her expression softening slightly. "Mr. Thompson, understand that this arrangement puts you in a uniquely vulnerable position. Without traditional HR protections, if this goes south, you'll have limited recourse." "I understand," Logan says. "I'm not sure you do." Margaret glances at Helen, then back to him. "But I'll draft the paperwork. Expect it to take a week. Background check, reference verification, the works." Helen's eyes narrow. "Margaret." "Non-negotiable, Miss Arden. If we're doing this, we're doing it properly." Margaret's voice is firm. "Unless you'd like to explain to the board why we bypassed standard hiring practices for a direct CEO report." A long moment passes. Then Helen nods once. 1 week. The week crawls by. Logan continues his IT work, enduring Marcus's jokes and Rick's knowing looks. He gets a call from a background check company asking about his employment history, his finances, his ex-wife. The questions probe old wounds, the failed marriage, The mountain of medical debt from her treatment, the custody arrangement that left him with everything but money. On day 5, he gets a call from a number he doesn't recognize. "Mr. Thompson, this is Gerald Whitmore, VP of Operations at Stratford Global." Logan's stomach drops. "Mr. Whitmore? I wanted to personally welcome you to the executive team." Whitmore's voice is smooth, polished. "Though I have to say, your promotion has raised quite a few eyebrows. Internal Operations Consultant. Fascinating title. What exactly does that entail?" "I observe. I listen. I report to Ms. Arden. Spy, in other words." The smoothness evaporates. "Word of advice, Thompson. Corporate politics is a blood sport. You're walking into a world you don't understand, with a target painted on your back, and when Helen inevitably loses interest in her latest project, no one will be there to catch you when you fall." The line goes dead. Logan sits in his apartment, staring at his phone, understanding for the first time exactly what Margaret Chen was warning him about. 7 days after accepting the position, Logan stands in a bathroom on floor 59, staring at his reflection, while wearing clothes that cost more than 3 months of his old rent. The navy suit was delivered to his apartment yesterday with a note. "You'll need this. H." It fits perfectly, which means Helen somehow knew his measurements. His new ID badge hangs around his neck, the words "Executive Clearance" printed below his photo. The badge opens every door in the building, every elevator, every conference room where decisions get made. He straightens his tie and steps into the hallway. The effect is immediate. A junior executive he's never met stops mid-stride, eyes widening at Logan's badge. An assistant carrying a tablet actually steps aside. The same people who ignored him last week now nod in greeting, their expressions careful, calculating. It's terrifying. Helen's office door is open when he arrives. She sits behind her desk, absorbed in something on her screen, and for a moment, Logan just watches her. She's wearing glasses today. Thin, gold-rimmed things that make her look less like a CEO and more like a professor. Her hair is down, falling past her shoulders in waves that catch the morning light. She looks up, sees him, and something in her expression softens. "Logan, come in. Close the door." He does. The space feels different today, less like a throne room, more like a sanctuary. "The suit fits," Helen observes. "How did you know my size?" "Your employee file had your measurements from the uniform orders." She removes her glasses, sets them aside. "I'm very thorough. That's one word for it." A small smile touches her lips, then vanishes. "How are you finding the transition?" "Terrifying. Your VP of Operations called me yesterday. Warned me about corporate politics being a blood sport." Helen's smile vanishes completely. "Gerald called you, welcomed me to the executive team, then implied I'm your latest project and that no one will catch me when I fall." "What else did he say?" Logan considers lying, softening it, but that's not what she hired him for. "He called me a spy, suggested I'm walking into a world I don't understand." He pauses. "He's not entirely wrong, Ms. Arden. People are afraid of you, and now they're afraid of me by association." Most executives would bristle. Most would defend themselves, rationalize, blame. Helen just nods slowly, processing. "That's why you're here," she says quietly. "Keep going. What else have you observed?" Over the next hour, Logan tells her everything. The way IT colleagues suddenly stopped talking when he approached. The whispers in the elevator. The email from HR CCing him on the code of conduct for executive-level employees, with particular sections highlighted. The culture of fear that permeates every floor. Helen listens without interrupting. When he finishes, she stands and walks to the window. "My father used to say that fear is the most expensive currency in business," she says, staring out at Manhattan. "It costs you innovation, loyalty, truth, everything that actually matters." She touches the glass with one finger, leaving a small print. "I never wanted to lead through fear. But after he died, the board made it clear. Become ruthless or become irrelevant. So you became ruthless. I became efficient, profitable, everything the shareholders wanted." She turns to face him. "I found something yesterday. In my desk." She opens a drawer, pulls out a small photo in a tarnished frame, hands it to him. Logan looks down at a child, maybe 7 or 8, standing beside a tall man at the edge of a lake. The same lake from the laptop photo. The girl is gap-toothed and grinning, holding up a fish that's almost as big as she is. The man's hand rests on her shoulder, pride radiating from his smile. "That's your father," Logan says. "2 months before I started business school. He was so proud." Her voice catches, just slightly. "He built this company from nothing. Wanted me to take it further than he ever could. And I did. Stock price tripled, revenue doubled. We expanded into 6 new markets." She takes the photo back, stares at it. "But he also taught me that people aren't assets, that loyalty can't be bought, that a company is only as good as the people who believe in it." He sounds like he was a good man. He was. And I think, somewhere along the way, I forgot everything he taught me. Helen sets the photo on her desk, visible now. A small rebellion against the pristine corporate aesthetic. "Help me fix that, Logan. Help me see what I've become, what this place has become." It's not a request, it's a confession. The weeks that follow are an education in corporate dysfunction. Logan sits in on a meeting where 3 department heads spend 45 minutes agreeing with each other in increasingly elaborate ways, never once mentioning the actual problem they're supposed to be solving. He reviews employee surveys where every question has been carefully designed to produce positive results. He talks to assistants who work 80-hour weeks and apologize for taking lunch breaks. And every evening, he returns to Helen's office with his findings. She listens to everything, takes notes in that precise handwriting, asks questions that cut through layers of corporate doublespeak. And slowly, something begins to shift between them. She asks about Aiden, remembers details Logan mentions in passing, his son's favorite dinosaur, the school play coming up, the elephant he won't sleep without. She laughs at Logan's stories about parenting disasters, actually laughs, head tilted back, the sound genuine and startled. Her assistant, Rebecca, notices. "I've worked for Ms. Arden for 3 years, she tells Logan one afternoon. "I've never heard her laugh like that. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." But the executives notice too. Logan catches the looks, the whispers that stop when he enters rooms. Gerald Whitmore's barely concealed hostility. The way Helen's calendar suddenly fills with urgent board matters and emergency executive sessions he's not invited to. Then comes the restructuring proposal. Logan isn't supposed to see it, but his security clearance gives him access to everything. And at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday, he's still in the office when the email comes through. Subject: Q4 Operational Efficiency Initiative. He reads it twice, stomach sinking. 200 positions eliminated, mostly in customer service and operations. The people who actually keep the company running. The savings would fund executive bonuses and a stock buyback program. Gerald Whitmore's name is first on the proposal. 6 other executives have already signed off. Helen's signature line is blank. Logan looks at the numbers again. calculates what 200 lost jobs means. 200 families, mortgages, medical bills, kids like Aidan asking their parents if everything's okay. He prints the document and walks to Helen's office. The door is closed, but light spills under it. He knocks. "Come in." Helen sits at her desk, jacket draped over her chair, sleeves rolled up. She looks exhausted. Human. She glances up at him, and something in her expression shifts. "Logan, it's late. What?" "I need you to see something." He places the printout on her desk. Helen looks at it. Her face goes carefully blank. "Gerald sent this to the executive committee tonight," Logan says. "He's scheduled a vote for Friday. They need your approval." "I know. You know. Gerald has been pressuring me for weeks. The board supports it. The numbers make sense." Her voice is flat, professional. 200 positions eliminated would save the company $12 million annually. "Those aren't positions, Miss Arden. They're people." "I know that too. Then why are you considering it?" Helen looks up at him, and for the first time since he met her, she looks angry. "Because that's the job, Logan. Making impossible decisions. Weighing 200 people against 2,000. Choosing between short-term pain and long-term survival. That's not the job. That's just cowardice dressed up as strategy." The words hang in the air between them. Helen stands slowly. "Excuse me?" Logan's heart hammers, but he doesn't back down. "Your father taught you that people aren't assets. You told me that. But you're about to sign off on a plan that treats them exactly like that. Like numbers on a spreadsheet. Like they're disposable. You don't understand corporate finance. I understand that Gerald Whitmore is using efficiency as a weapon. That he's consolidating power by forcing you to make a decision that will either destroy your reputation or prove you're exactly what they think you are." Logan steps closer. "He's testing you, Miss Arden, and you're about to fail." Helen's face flushes. "I hired you to observe, not to—" "You hired me to tell you the truth. So here it is. If you sign that proposal, you become everything you hired me to help you stop being. You become the Ice Queen. You become Arden's axe." He pauses. "You become someone your father wouldn't recognize." The silence that follows is nuclear. Helen stares at him, chest rising and falling rapidly, hands clenched at her sides. For a moment, Logan thinks she might fire him on the spot. Might prove Gerald right. Might prove Rick right. Might prove everyone right who said this was insane. Then she sits down, picks up a pen, and writes in bold letters across the proposal. Rejected. Find another solution. She looks up at him, eyes bright with something that might be tears or might be fury. "Get out," she says quietly. Logan leaves. He doesn't hear from Helen for 3 days. His badge still works. His salary still appears in his account. But her office door remains closed, her assistant stonewalling him with polite excuses. Ms. Arden is in meetings. Ms. Arden is traveling. Ms. Arden will contact you when she's available. On the 3rd day, Logan sits in a conference room, reviewing expense reports when the door opens. Gerald Whitmore walks in, immaculate in a grey suit. "Thompson, we need to talk." Logan closes his laptop. About your little performance in Helen's office." Whitmore sits across from him, expression cold. "You cost this company $12 million in savings. More importantly, you undermined a decision that 7 executives and half the board supported. I gave Ms. Arden information she needed to make an informed decision. You manipulated her emotions, played on her grief about her father, convinced her to reject a sound business strategy because it didn't align with your working-class sense of morality." Whitmore leans forward. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to resign. Quietly. Today. In exchange, I'll make sure you get 6-month severance and a decent reference. And if I don't, then I make your life very difficult. I dig into your background, and trust me, I've already started. Failed marriage, ex-wife in rehab, financial struggles. I'll find every skeleton in your closet and make sure they're rattling when Helen finally realizes what a mistake you were. Logan feels ice in his veins. You're threatening me. I'm being practical. You're a liability, Thompson, an experiment that failed. Helen brought you in because she was having some kind of emotional crisis, but eventually she'll remember that business requires hard choices. And when she does, you'll be gone anyway. Whitmore stands. Save yourself the humiliation. Take the offer. No. Whitmore's expression darkens. You're making a mistake. Maybe. But it's my mistake to make. Whitmore walks to the door, pauses. You really think she cares about you? That you're special? You're not. You're just the latest in a long line of people Helen Arden has used and discarded. Ask her former assistant, or her last COO, or any of the dozens of people who thought they understood her. He smiles coldly. She's very good at making people feel seen. Right up until she destroys them. He leaves. Logan sits alone in the conference room, hands shaking, wondering if he just made the biggest mistake of his life. That evening, Logan's barge won't open the elevator to floor 59. He tries 3 times. Nothing. A security guard approaches. Sorry, sir. Your clearance has been temporarily suspended. HR issue, apparently. Logan takes the subway home in a daze, picks up Aiden from after-school care, makes dinner, helps with homework, goes through all the motions while his mind races. It's over. Gerald was right. Helen has cut him loose. At 9 p.m., his phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? Logan. Helen's voice, barely above a whisper. I need you to meet me somewhere. Now. The address she gives him is in Brooklyn, a warehouse district near the water. Logan takes an Uber, anxiety building with every mile. The building is nondescript, old brick, small door, no signage. He knocks. Helen opens it. She's not wearing a suit, just jeans and a sweater, her hair down, no makeup. She looks younger, vulnerable, real. Come in. Logan steps into what appears to be an art studio. Canvases line the walls, paint supplies scattered across a work table. Large windows overlook the East River. What is this place? He asks. Mine. I bought it 6 years ago. Thought I'd take up painting again. Helen walks to the window, stares out at the water. I haven't been here in 3 years. Why did you bring me here? Because my office has cameras, my apartment has security. Every space in my life is monitored, recorded, documented. She turns to face him. Except this one. Logan waits. I suspended your badge, Helen says. Not to fire you, to protect you. Gerald went to the board this morning, demanded your termination, presented a list of concerns about your conduct, your influence over me, your lack of qualifications. She pauses. He's building a case. And if you're actively working for me, every interaction we have becomes evidence. Evidence of what? That I'm compromised, emotional, making decisions based on personal feelings rather than business strategy. Helen's voice is tight. He's trying to get me removed, Logan, and you're the weapon he's using to do it. So fire me, prove him wrong. I can't. The words come out raw, because he's right. Logan goes still. I am compromised, Helen continues. I am making decisions based on emotion. I rejected that restructuring plan, not because the numbers were wrong, but because you looked at me like I was about to betray everything that mattered. She steps closer. For 3 days, I've been trying to figure out how to fix this, how to be the CEO they need, while also being the person you helped me remember I could be. And I can't do both. Helen, my father built this company on the belief that doing well and doing good weren't mutually exclusive, that you could be profitable and principled, that people mattered more than numbers. Her eyes are bright now, definitely tears. But the market doesn't care about principles. The board doesn't care about people. They care about returns. And if I can't deliver both, they'll replace me with someone who will. Then fight them. With what? Gerald has the board's support. He has 7 executives backing him. He has 20 years of corporate experience and a playbook I don't even understand. Her voice cracks. And all I have is an IT technician who thinks honesty can beat strategy. The words land like a slap. Logan takes a breath. Is that what you really think? That I'm naive? I think you're good. And I think this world eats good people alive. Helen looks away. I can't protect you, Logan. I can't even protect myself. So I need you to walk away. Take the severance Gerald offered. Find a better job. Give Aidan the stability he deserves. And what happens to you? I figure out how to be Helen Arden, CEO, full-time. No distractions, no complications, no... She stops. No what? No hope, she whispers. No hope that I could be anything other than what they made me. Logan looks at this woman, this powerful, broken, desperate woman, and understands exactly what's happening. She's not firing him. She's releasing him, giving him permission to escape before everything collapses. But he thinks of Aidan asking if his mother remembers his voice, of water stains that look like maps, of the way Helen looked at her own photo and didn't recognize herself. He thinks about all the times he's walked away from hard things, all the times he chose safety over risk. No, he says. Helen's head snaps up. What? I said no. I'm not walking away. Logan steps closer. You asked me why I was kind to you that first day. You want the real answer? It's because I saw someone who looked like I felt. Lost. Buried. Convinced that this was all there was. He pauses. My wife left because she couldn't handle reality anymore. Needed chemicals to make the world tolerable. And I watched her disappear one day at a time until the person I loved was just gone. Logan, I'm not letting that happen to you. Not without a fight. His voice is firm now. So no, I'm not taking Gerald's offer. I'm not walking away. I'm staying. And if he wants to destroy me to get to you, then he'll have to do it while I'm standing right here. Helen stares at him, tears spilling over now. This is insane. I know. You'll lose everything. Maybe. Logan holds her gaze. Or maybe we both stop losing and start fighting back. How? I don't know yet. But I know that you're not the Ice Queen. You're not Arden's axe. You're Helen Arden, daughter of a man who believed people mattered. And somewhere under all that armor, she's still there. Helen closes her eyes, and when she opens them, something has shifted. A decision made. A risk accepted. If we do this, she says quietly, there's no going back. Gerald will come at us with everything. The board will move against me. Your life will become a nightmare. My life's been a nightmare. At least this nightmare has purpose. A sound escapes Helen, half laugh, half sob. She covers her mouth with her hand, overwhelmed. Logan takes one more step closer. Not touching, just present. Why were you so kind to me that day? Helen asks through tears. The truth. because you looked like someone who needed kindness, and because I needed someone to need me for something other than fixing their computer." He pauses. "Because for a moment, you made me feel like I mattered, and I haven't felt that since Aiden's mother left." Helen looks at him with devastating openness. "You scare me." "Good. You scare me too." "No, I mean..." She takes a shaky breath. "You make me want things I gave up on. Hope, connection, the possibility that I could be someone other than what they expect." She wipes her eyes. "And that's terrifying, because wanting things means they can be taken away. Or," Logan says gently, "it means they can be built. Together." Helen holds his gaze for a long moment. Then, so quietly, he almost misses it. "Stay. I already said I would." "No, I mean..." She gestures around the studio. "Stay here, tonight. Help me remember what I'm fighting for." Logan understands what she's asking. Not romance, not escape, just presence, companionship. Two people who've forgotten how to be human, trying to remember together. "Okay," he says. They spend the next 4 hours sitting on the floor of the studio, backs against the wall, talking about fathers and failures, about Aiden and Lake Placid, about the terrible pancakes her father made, and the way Logan's mother used to sing off-key while doing dishes, about the people they used to be and the people they're afraid of becoming. Helen laughs, really laughs, until tears stream down her face. Logan tells stories about Aiden's misadventures. Helen confesses she doesn't know how to make coffee. Logan admits he's terrified every single day that he's failing as a father. And somewhere around 2 a.m., sitting in that empty studio overlooking the East River, something shifts between them. Not love, not yet, but the foundation of it. The recognition that they see each other, really see each other, in a world designed to keep them blind. "Logan," Helen says quietly, "tomorrow, Gerald will move against us. The board will question my judgment. HR will investigate our relationship. It's going to be ugly." "I know. And you're still willing to do this?" Logan thinks about Aiden, asking if his mother remembers his voice. Thinks about water stains and laundromat smells and the invisible life he's been living. "Yes," he says, "I'm willing." Helen nods slowly. Then she reaches out and takes his hand. Not romantic, not sexual, just connection. Human to human. Two people holding on to each other in the dark. They sit like that until dawn breaks over Brooklyn, painting the studio in shades of gold. And neither of them knows what happens next. But for the first time, in longer than either can remember, that uncertainty feels like possibility.